Imagine a civilization where everyone's hands were shackled to their sides all the time, and they were only given enough slack to move in order to work. No one would call that free or democratic, because the behavior of the people would literally not be free. They would be actively compelled to act a certain way by the structures of control placed on them. Surveillance changes behavior. That's the point. So by definition, people are no longer acting freely under surveillance. Their behavior is shaped by how the watchers want them to act. No matter how subtle this is, it's true. And compulsory behavior is, by definition, not free. So surveillance is antithetical to freedom. Because surveillance is designed to compel behavior, this gives a very real power to the watchers. And that violates the core principle of democracy. Rather than a free society of free individuals acting together, surveillance creates a power differential, where the people behind the cameras now have far more power than the people in front of the cameras. So surveillance and democracy cannot coexist. It's important to learn the difference between surveillance and being witnessed. To be witnessed is a community act. It is the natural social structure of all primates. We see one another, and that shapes behavior in a pro-social way. But being witnessed is a transparent, mutual act. I see you in community, and you see me. Also, being witnessed is a collective action. We all see one another, and in our witnessing, we create the fabric of a society. You could say that the weave of a healthy society is made of the threads of mutual witnessing. Modern individualistic society breaks these threads and leaves people feeling isolated. We don't feel seen. We don't really see anyone else. I work to act all the time as though I'm being actively watched by the people I respect most in the world. And that is an effort to return to a healthier model of human society. It's also true, nothing is secret in community, really. Everything we ever do is part of us, and people around us will see it. So it's good practice to act in ways that you want to be witnessed by your entire community, past, present, and future. That's integrity. But notice the differences. Surveillance is not a two-way thread of mutual witnessing. It is a one-way watching from anonymous powers far larger than you. Palantir watching you 24/7, 365 is the opposite of healthy co-witnessing in community. Community co-witnessing encourages us to be better people. It is a healthy, natural, democratic, pro-social pressure. It's power together that we collectively wield to shape our communities. Corporate and state surveillance is power over. It is a vast authoritarian demon whose eyes are always on you, but who you can never fully see, shaping your behavior to align with its will, to expand its profits and power. Palantir is aptly named. For anyone who understood Tolkien, it's absolutely wild that Peter Thiel named his evil global surveillance corporation after the most famously corrupt and corrupting tools of mass surveillance in Tolkien's world. Some may argue that surveillance in a democratic system reinforces the democratically decided standard of behavior. I disagree. I believe that blind surveillance is inherently authoritarian for the reasons I laid out above. But more to the point, that's not the world we live in. Statistically, for many decades, the government of the United States has passed the laws that billionaires and corporations want, not what the population wants. So no matter how you cut it, the US is not any kind of democracy. I don't mean that it's a constitutional republic as opposed to a pure democracy. I mean it doesn't abide by the Constitution either. In a technical sense, it is a corporate oligarchy dressing up as a democratic constitutional republic. So even if you believe that under a healthy system of governance, surveillance could be positive, we don't have that. We have a brutal corporate oligarchy, which is well down the path of becoming a full-blown authoritarian state. It is within that context that we're discussing the explosion of state surveillance driven by AI now. So let's keep the conversation in reality and not pretend that the will of corporate techno-fascist AIs behind these cameras is somehow representative of the will of the population. State surveillance is an authoritarian practice, always. The more surveillance, the less free and democratic, and the more authoritarian. The point of surveillance is for the rich to control the behavior of the poor, only and always. So act accordingly.